The following movie is rated R.
Welcome back to the R-Rated Podcast. Today's guest is Jacob Behill, and we're going to talk about his journey in the film industry and all the different things that he does. And I know that you do voiceovers, so I kind of wanted to start with that.
Of course.
What got you into voiceovers, and how did it start?
So, as a kid,
that's your main thing,
yeah,
right?
My main thing is voiceover.
Okay, so that's why I want to dissect that first.
I'm a SAG-AFTRA voice actor.
Oh shit! So you're
you're
up
there.
there.
I'm up there.
Legit.
I'm a little legit.
I love it.
I got a card to prove it.
Wow, really?
I actually do. Yes, I do.
I've
Hold
never
on.
actually seen a SAG card.
So a SAG card, they usually come every other pay grade area.
Whoa.
So so there's that.
Wow.
Go ahead and show it to the camera.
Nice and yellow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And it's if you drop it, it's that's my card.
Yeah, that's my card.
Excuse me, that's mine.
Actually, you can get discounts with this thing. I don't know where, but I'm gonna try them everywhere and just hopefully something happens.
Yeah.
This is a Trader Joe's.
They're sorry.
Let me just go ahead and
would this be a
drop this down here. But
it's like a rapid rewards card.
I know, right? Just anywhere. They're like, "Oh, you're an actor. Sure, why not?"
Do they call you and all right, you're in, or do you have to apply? So it might be a really silly question.
So with SAG, basically you either have to do two things. You either have to have a speaking role in a union production in order to be SAG eligible, or you have to get at least 3 vouchers from doing extra work or being on a SAG or being on a non-union project that turns union, and then you get that voucher. So unless you get those vouchers, then you become SAG eligible, or if you have a speaking role in a SAG project, then you become eligible.
So it could be as simple as one word. Does that count as speaking?
One word, you could be SAG eligible.
Even if it's good morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if you have a speaking line, and it doesn't matter what it is, you're in.
That's amazing.
Or technically you're not in. They'll tell you have to pay for the money. They have to pay for the SAG union card and everything, but it's $3,000.
It is?
Oh yeah. I was lucky enough to, have that money provided.
Oh wow.
So I was really, really, really happy.
They expect you to just pay $3,000.
Oh yeah, $3,000, and then $111 a month, every other pay grade. So you get $222 every year, plus one pay $3,000. So technically, you're paying to be a part of the union, but you have to work for it in order to become.
You are working for it, and they're taking a piece of your paycheck.
Oh,
almost, right?
No, if you're a manager and agent with union and stuff, but because I have gotten most of my stuff off of reference, and I keep all that. That's all mine.
Oh, okay.
So,
and then I'm sure the pay is a lot higher, with SAG, right? Than
have you
ever do you do independent
So when I started out,
is that a thing, or can you not anymore? I don't know.
Independent. So I can't do anything non-union anymore unless I go to FICOR. And FICOR basically means you can pay to be in the union, but you can't vote, and you can't do most of the things that
you can't vote.
You can't vote for anything SAG related.
Oh,
so you can't you can't vote for anything for the awards or the academies or anything like that. You can't vote. But FICOR will will allow you to do union and non-union projects.
Oh,
because you'll be basically a free agent.
I didn't know any of this. This is crazy.
So
you're the first person that I know.
It's been a long journey from a kid playing, pretend with some imaginary.
Let's take me on the journey. Let's start from the beginning.
All
okay,
right.
So tell me. Where are you from, Jacob?
I am from Arvada, Colorado.
Okay.
I've been there my entire life. When I was a kid, I didn't really have that many friends growing up until I don't have first grade.
Now.
I mean, it's still you have those friends, and then you have those friends.
Exactly. You need just a solid close circle.
But I didn't really have that many friends growing up, so my main thing was video games and cartoons.
Love it. Yeah.
So my main best friends were Bugs Bunny and Tom and Jerry, all those great characters, because my dad used to put me on the old stuff,
Yeah.
Hey, of course, you went to the new stuff SpongeBob, Kim Possible, Invader Zim, all this stuff.
Kim Possible. I almost thought about being her for Halloween. I was like, it'd be so cool.
Why not? Do it. I mean,
I know, right?
Go big or go home.
Right?
So I had a bunch of those references in my head already, and whenever I would, play pretend, as kids do, I would do a lot of voices with that. And
wow.
once school started, it got I think that's where like the more like entertaining stuff with like
Right.
cartoons and stuff really hit me, because I was bullied a lot. Like
Mhm.
first day in
I was bullied
kindergarten,
too. Yeah.
first day in kindergarten, I got sent home.
Really?
Yeah,
No.
because a kid put like scissors to my eyes, made me throw up, and I had to go home early.
Okay, well that is like psychotic. I
Yeah,
can't,
it was totally psychotic. I'm sure he's in jail right now. So
Yeah,
like I had a lot of, so basically cartoons and video games were like my escape.
yeah.
And so those really like hit home with me. So
Right.
like all these voices that I knew, all these references of like characters that I could do and characters that I wanted to mimic.
Yeah.
It kept through my entire childhood.
Wow, I love that.
And when I became like more of like the performer that I was like growing up, like I wanted to become a singer at first.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah. No.
So you know how to sing?
Oh yeah, I know how to sing.
Oh yeah, like it's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh.
It actually really helps with voiceover work too, to have
Oh
a
my
musical
God.
ear. But yeah.
Yeah, so you could actually do like musical voiceovers too, right? Is that like a thing? Musical
Yeah, of
voiceovers?
course. So
Or did I make that up?
with voiceovers, there's usually this thing of there's certain areas.
Right.
There's voiceover with animation,
Yes.
video games,
Anime?
dubbing, anime. Oh man,
Have you done that?
that's a big industry. I wish I can get into it.
I literally was just talking to a friend about this. I was like, Netflix is making their own anime. I'm like, that's a huge market.
Oh yeah.
If like you can get in on that and like be the voice for, oh my
Mhm.
God, you're
I
set
know.
for life.
I'm trying to get into the
You
anime
should.
thing.
You totally can. I think you totally can.
I've been you send your emails, you try
Yeah.
to pay your dues,
Yeah. Is
but
that how that works? You just like,
so yeah, I look at the companies and I look at the people who are doing said animes. Like
yeah.
I'm a really big fan of My Hero Academia,
yeah.
Attack on Titan,
Yeah,
all
of
those
course.
great
Great ones.
animes that are
Mhm.
starting out now. But like I look at the companies who are doing those and
Mhm.
seeing if there's anything in post production or like
Mm.
pre-production right now. So like I'll look at those companies and then I'll email the dubbing companies that they have out here. And I'll be like, "Hi,
Hey.
my name is Jacob.
And then you
I'm
could work
a
for them and then get in that.
Mhm.
That's smart.
So-
See, that's like the kind of thinking that I need too. I'm like, how can I cut corners to get to like being a director? Because they're always like, wait, 37 years for experience. I'm like, no.
37
like,
years.
Literally, like I'll apply. Like I just was curious. I was like, I want to apply to these like studios and just see, And they were literally. I swear, it said 37. It was so specific. I was like, why 37?
Why 37?
Why not 35?
That doesn't make any
It
sense.
was so stressful. Anyway, it was such a downer. But like hearing stuff like that, like this is literally why I like having conversations, because like you talk and you're like, wow, like that's something I never would have thought of, but that's so smart.
Yeah, I mean,
You know what I mean?
it's anybody can really do it. I mean,
And anybody could do it, but it's so smart. And like, but I never would have thought of it.
No, like if you really wanted to go to like I would just say like boutique production companies and
Yeah.
just be like, hey, look, I'm a director. I'm fairly new, but I want to
Yeah.
show you what I can do. And
Yeah.
who knows? Maybe they
Maybe-
might throw you a bone,
Yeah.
and see what you can do.
Maybe they need some new directors, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so back to your escape was cartoons.
Yes.
And you thought you wanted to be a singer.
Yes. And so, so I've always wanted to be an entertainer.
You always wanted, okay. Yeah, you
But
wanted to be in the spotlight. You're ready.
When I
You're
figured
not
out,
shy.
no. I was like, I was bullied, but I was shy, but also I wanted to show who I was.
Right.
So like
right.
it was like a
Yeah.
double-edged sword,
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always, like I said, I always want to be an entertainer. So when I figured out what I wanted to do was voiceover, it took me back to that, little kid who wanted the escape from the cartoons and animation. And I was like, you know what? I really appreciated that when I had that. So I want to do that for the kids of this generation on my end. So I
Which
could
is
thank
really
the people who
sweet.
did it for me.
Yeah, and there's so much like shit going on. I feel like the kids need like a nice escape and a nice like
for sure.
Like it's just like really nice to be able to like watch a show and detach, especially a cartoon. I remember like so many cartoons I used to just like fully immerse myself and feel like I want to be in the show so bad. I literally would like kill back then to be in an episode of like Kim Possible or like SpongeBob or even like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, like just shows like that, like on Disney. I'm like,
oh yeah, Disney have always been the place to be when you were a kid. You're like,
yeah,
I want to be in that.
Yeah.
But I was the person who was like, oh, I want to be an Invader Zim. Like I want to be like, I liked a lot of Nickelodeon stuff.
Nickelodeon's sick. And Cartoon Network, I used to watch Cartoon Network all the time. So when did you decide like I'm gonna did you try to pursue singing at all? Like,
so yeah, I did a little bit, like, you know, not like professionally, you know, I did like, you know, the thing of like, oh, I want to like, here's my YouTube, like I have a bunch of original songs on this thing.
I love it.
I don't know where the password to that YouTube
so
is, but it's up there, so you can see like 12-year-old Jacob.
I had that same problem too with like old music videos, like back when I was like still trying to figure out like how to make videos and like, you know, getting in the groove. And I used to think like I was a great lip syncer, and you know, all my friends could lip sync every song. So I have like videos of me like on YouTube from like 7th grade, me lip syncing to like Rihanna or like or Katy Perry back when like California Girls was like popping and like on every day.
For sure.
It's so embarrassing though, because like now every episode I'm like, you know, go to my YouTube and like watch the podcast, right? And then people will find my old videos, and I swear those views are going up. I'm like,
they continue to go.
Like, I wish I could report it, but I can't.
I can't report mine. I've tried.
Me too.
It's stuck up there. So,
I literally have tried to report it. I was like, I'll literally report myself.
You know, so if I'm ever lucky to be, you know, as big as I want to be in the animation industry, they're gonna find little 12-year-old Jacob just singing about, you know, middle school and elementary crushes.
Oh my god, how funny!
I
love it. That is so cute.
So didn't really do it professionally.
Did you do plays?
Oh, I was a big actor guy in middle school and high school. So you act too,
or like you act?
Yeah, that's where it started. That's where it really was, you know, because I was the entertainer, you know. I did musicals and stuff like that. So I was like, you know, acting, music.
You're comfortable singing and acting.
Both, you know.
Makes sense. So when did you decide, like, I want to move to LA and pursue that? Because, I don't really know if there's, like, a film industry scene in Colorado.
There technically, it's like an indie film scene. Okay. Very small percent of people who do a lot of things in film for Colorado, but mainly it's like for sports because the Nuggets and like the Broncos and stuff. So not really
anything. Film industry, you think LA or like maybe New York now, right? Or
but I think freshman year was definitely the pushing point for me, because I was like
freshman year of high school.
Yeah, freshman year, because I was like, I want to pursue acting. I want to become a voice actor.
So you always deep down knew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like that's kind of how I felt too. Like I feel like deep down I always didn't know it was directing. I thought it was like acting, because I was like, I just want to like be in movies or like something around that. And then when I want to do what they do. I was like, I want to do what they do. But then when I actually learned about like the different positions and the roles, I was like, no, like I want to be more in charge of it visually, not necessarily like in front of the camera acting. And I think it's cool, and I've tried it, but I just don't think I'm good at it. Like I'm better as a director writer, you know? I feel like you find your like niche, like what you're good at. Like, and do you feel like you are a better voice actor or like, can you even compare that? Like, or would you say it's...
I get this question all the time. So
sorry, I'm so basic.
It's great, because I love to talk about it. So acting on camera.
Yes.
There's a lot of things you're doing, you're doing very like out in the open. Like right now I'm in front of a camera and I'm talking to you, but my body's into it. My voice is into it. You can see my emotions, everything on my face. Everything. Voice acting is literally all those components crammed into just your voice. So you got to give this full on performance with all the emotion, your body intensity,
but like right here,
giving out everything, but only through the mic. And that's the thing where people are like, "Oh,
I feel like
because
that's super hard.
It's super complicated. It's
I feel like I'd be acting it out in the closet, like you know, so I'd be like,
I mean, you kind of look like a fool, but nobody's there to watch you.
Nobody's gonna laugh at you when no one's there.
The big thing I love to say about voice acting is this eulogy, or this idea of like being a superhero, like every other day, you know, because like on-screen actors, you know, you see them every single day, and you're like, oh my god, it's that person.
Yeah,
like,
you
I
recognize
love that
them,
guy.
and then you start to like be more infatuated by them because you're like, you see them every day, or you see them so often.
The thing with that is, because of that, a lot of people gain a lot of ego when it comes to on-screen, and that's the thing I really love about voice acting, because like you can be walking around, you know, doing your groceries, you know, hanging out at the pool. Yeah. Nobody knows who you are. Yeah. It's like you're Clark Kent.
Yeah, literally.
But as soon as you go into the booth, as soon as you start performing, you're Superman.
Yeah, literally.
You have all these amazing abilities. And people
recognize your voice. Like, you might not know who, but like, I feel like somebody out there is like, I know this voice.
Oh God, I feel like I'm the only person who's actually like seen voice actors outside.
Really?
And like, I'm like, that's you. Like I met Squidward from SpongeBob.
Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Does he sound like that in real life? Or
No, he's completely different
you're
voice.
like,
no. So the reason I knew him is because, like, well, I'm also obsessed. I've been self-trained for 7 years and been coached for about 2.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or 2 to 3, technically.
So, like, you just, like, hit the booth one day and you started practicing? Or just because from acting, you
I
had,
have
like,
so
already
many
different
references.
you already had the experience that you would just put into your voice?
Yeah, like, there was one thing that really got me into, like, really, like, learning about voiceover was this documentary. It was called I Know That Voice. It was a documentary from John DiMaggio, the voice of Bender, Jake from Adventure Time. Got it. You know, so
really unique voices,
incredible voices. These men and women who do voice acting are genius.
Yeah, I'm like, how do they hit those? Like, I don't know.
I'm still looking at it.
I don't know. What do you even call it? Like,
it's a lot of voice training. So, like, you know, if I go from here and I, you know,
you almost have to take like vocal lessons. I feel like, right?
Most definitely. Because you know, like those, you went to NIFA, but you weren't on the acting side. So they have these classes called voice and movement where they'll train your voice to give you those certain gravitas, those certain levels, those certain like emotional bearings.
Oh, okay.
And and like in the movements too, but like more importantly,
what's
was
like
the
a
voice.
basic one they teach you? Like, oh, you should do this before you like start in the booth or something.
So,
or do you have like a little routine, like when you walk in?
I have a routine.
I
got a little.
What's your routine?
Okay, so my warm up is basically doing stuff I used to do back in theater.
Okay.
So it would go from this big giant voice to go fee fi fo fum to all the way to like training your voice to go to warm up your voice, right? Because you got to get all those.
I don't
bearings.
think I can do that.
Because in auditions, you can go from a transatlantic doctor. Oh, good day, sir. Yes, I have this for you. To all right, maggots, we're gonna go downtown.
I love it. This is so entertaining.
So you can go from highs to lows, from mediums to softs to quiets to louds. I mean, there's so many like different things you do in auditions, and that's why when I looked at I Know That Voice, like I saw all these people, like I'm like, I know these people, like I know these voices. They're my childhood.
You feel like connected already, like you know them,
So that's when I started really doing the research, and then like there's these podcasts out there. Actually, I Know That Voice, and then I Know That Voice led straight into Talkin' Tunes with Rob Paulsen.
Nice. Rob
Paulsen's the voice of Yakko from Animaniacs.
Okay.
And Leonardo from the original Teen Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, cool.
And so he does a lot of stuff, and he brings all his voiceover friends over, and they talk shop. They talk shop. They talk about where they started, where they are now, and
that's exactly what I want to do. Like with this podcast, just like with the whole film industry Uncensored. Like, you know what I mean? Just like anybody who is in the film industry has their experiences, because there's like different, so many different things happen. Like your experiences are so different from mine. Even if like, let's say you and I both act, like even if we act in the same film, it's going to be a different experience for you.
Exactly.
So like, it's just like so nice to like talk and like listen to everyone's like different stories, how they're getting into the industry, how they're handling it, how they're like, you know what I mean?
It's a beautiful thing, because you understand people's journeys, you understand people's struggles, and the way that they're taking on those those hills to climb.
And it's so fascinating too, because I've always thought about it. I'm like, how do they do they practice in the room, like in a closet, because they want it to sound like I have these like random questions all the time. So I
would love to answer as many as I can.
Okay, so you're in the booth, you have your routine.
Yeah.
What, like, when you see the script, do you, like, it tells you kind of, like, what the character is like?
It kind of gives you, like, an instance of what you want to do.
Do they tell you, like, we kind of expect the character to, like, sound like this? Or do you go into it, like, however you feel like it would, and then, like, go from there?
It all depends on what project you're doing. Because, if you're doing something that a voice is already known for, like if you're doing a legacy voice, that's what they call the legacy voices are the voices that everyone knows, and they're passing on the torch to somebody else.
Shit.
So,
like, can you give me an example of, like, who would be a legacy?
So Mel Blanc was the original voice for Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Marvin the Martian, Foghorn Leghorn. He was basically 90% of Looney Tunes.
Oh my God, I love it. So, imagine that. You're like, I'm 90% of Looney Tunes.
When he passed away, a lot of that moved on to different people.
Right. And
so
who's going to take all those roles?
So like now the voices that are known by our generation are Bob Bergen's Porky Pig and Marvin the Martian, while we have Jeff Bergman, who just did Space Jam. The new one, the new Legacy. Cool, so he did Bugs Bunny for that. But at first, but then Billy West did the first Space Jams as Bugs Bunny, and then so things kind of legacy voices. There's never a one person, unless the one person who started it is still there, like Jim Cummings. He's the voice of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. He's been there since... He's like the OG. He's the second OG. The first OG was in like the first original Winnie the Pooh. Oh. And then he took that training from that production, from that actor, and he's been the voice ever since. That makes a lot of sense. Like passing the torch on, and then like... I feel like that's also like a big decision to make. Like, who's going to be that voice to take over? It all depends on the director, because there's some bad choices for legacy voices, and there's some really good ones. So the director makes that choice? Oh, yeah. Like 100%? Or like... So the casting director is always the one that makes the choice, because you can either... The casting director can either bring in the person who does the voice already, like, you know, say... let's just say Mark Hamill is the voice of Joker. Yeah. He's been doing the voice for about 20 years now. But let's say the casting director wants to go a different direction, a little bit darker. So for Under the Red Hood, Andrea Romano, she's the casting director who started out with Mark Hamill. But she actually casted John DiMaggio as the Joker. And it gave a whole different vibe to the Joker. So like sometimes it's good things. And then there's bad ones where have you seen the new Scoob movie? I have seen the new Scoob. Do you know the Shaggy voice? I mean, I don't know if I probably do, but I don't know. So his name is Will Forte. He was in The Last Man on Earth. Okay. Yeah, so that's him. He's the voice? He played Shaggy. Interesting. Sorry. I will tell you right now. If he's watching, he'd be like, that's not the reaction I expected. That I don't want to dog on anybody's performances, because like everybody's different. But the casting director made a really bad choice with that, because not only did they not cast Matthew Lillard, who is the legacy voice of, this generation's Shaggy, but also the casting director told Will Forte, we don't want you to sound like the original Shaggy. We want you to put a whole new spin on it. For the new kids, for the new generation. And that's like that's the difference between good directing and bad directing. You have to keep a balance for the OGs that are watching and for the newcomers that are watching. I feel like that's messed up to just sing out all the OGs that have been loyal fans all these years. You know what I mean? Like having Frank Welker do Scooby instead of Fred. He's been doing Fred since the 70s. Yeah. They try to switch it up on him? Because Fred is Zac Efron. So you're right. Oh my God, Fred is Zac Efron. That is crazy. So they had the original Fred play Scooby, which was, it's still good because, he also trained under, he was good friends with the original voice of Scooby. So, after he passed, they had to find new places, But yeah, so that's when casting directors will ask for reference for a voice, or if it's a specific person. Like I got a audition where they wanted me to sound like a young fashion designer from the 70s. I can't remember his name. Okay, but he always sounds like this. Always kind of transatlantic. Very old style. Right? I like it. So he has sometimes you have the references and sometimes they're like, this is a brand new character. Okay. So just kind of play with it. Play along with it. Yeah. They give you references sometimes. Let's just say he's British. Yeah. He's a little bit of he has this Tom Holland vibe to him. Yeah. Or it's like Christopher Walken, but if he was from New York. Right. Kind of thing. Yes. So they give you references, they give you videos to actually look at the actual voice they want. Oh, okay. And then they have you references for dialects in case you're doing dialects. Okay. And that's always hard because, you gotta get. Did you do you know how to do accents or because of the job it kind of forced you to learn all these different ones? Because I feel you try your best. First, you want to learn the British accent because that's
classic.
Of course.
You start with that. And then, like, what were, like, the next, like...
So I started learning British first.
Mhm.
And, that's easy, for me.
I'm like, well...
that's easy. Well, there's
Speak for yourself.
there's different ways of British. There's British RP, there's Essex, there's Welsh, there's a bunch of areas to where you can go. There's uptown, there's downtown.
Right.
It's all about like regions with English or with British, and that's the hard part. I think people kind of get stuck on that, like
they probably don't even know.
Is definitely a different one from like that.
Nice
to meet you.
Yes.
So
yes.
So like those are hard. That's the first one that I learned myself, and that was fairly easy. The one that's hardest right now for me is Cajun dialect.
Oh my
because
God. Yeah, how do you go about that?
It's Southern mixed with a French twang.
Right.
So I've been listening to.
Yeah. How do you study that?
So I've been listening to this guy. He's an old cook from like the 70s or 80s. His name is Justin Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
He had a cooking show in Louisiana, and he would broadcast it for everyone like in the mornings, like to talk about like certain dishes to like make for the family.
Yeah.
So you'd always start the video off with like, "Hello everyone, my name is Justin Wilson. And today we're gonna make some crab. We're gonna do It
literally sounds like that. That's
so
awesome.
And there's so many different things like onion is onion and lemon is lemon because it's French and Southern.
French. Yeah, it sounds French.
So those are the things I've learned so far.
Have you ever gotten one where you're like, I don't know.
Oh God,
how to go about this. Where you're like almost pulling out your hair because you're so frustrated. That's
the hard thing with dialect sometimes, because sometimes it can come off really stereotypical.
Yeah.
And then it can come off really like you're not even trying.
Yeah.
Because like thinking about it, like French, all we think is like oui oui.
Yeah.
But that's so stereotypical. No one's gonna ask for that.
Right.
And so when people ask for that, or when German,
yes,
they always think of like, yelling,
straight
up.
They sound
like,
so angry. And I'm like, I speak German. Like, I
do you really?
I do, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, ich kann Deutsch reden. Ich bin I was born in Austria, so that's where the German comes in. And
that didn't sound anything like yelling.
Exactly. And no, every time I would just be like, oh yeah, I speak German, people would be like, oh, like when you speak German, it's like you don't yell, like it doesn't sound aggressive, or it's not like you're angry. And I was like, I think that's like a stereotype, or maybe like I don't know, maybe because like of the past, like maybe with like Hitler, they kind of associate it with definitely that. Yeah, they associate it with like I don't know, it seems like yelling and like controlling, but I'm like, no, like I swear, it's just the way you like deliver the lines.
It's just a language,
but it really is the way you deliver it and the tone of voice you use.
Oh yeah,
like even in English, if I use a certain tone of voice or like the way I say it to you could come off super like even if I was like oh you're so dumb, or like versus like you're dumb.
You're so dumb.
Like the way I deliver it's just like
delivery.
You would have taken it differently. Like oh she's joking versus like she meant that.
Oh, emphasis and cadence on certain words change the whole meaning.
Do you deal with that in like voiceover stuff too? Like
sometimes, if I look at a script and majority of it is always looking at stuff who because like my main stuff that I do professionally has been dubbing, so I do a lot of things from a foreign language into English.
How is that? Because did you watch Squid Game?
Oh my God, please don't. The English.
I want to get your opinion on that because I watched it in English at first. Well, like I was like on the third episode, and then I was telling my brother about it. I was like, I love it, blah, blah. And he was like, "You're watching it in Korean, right? With English subtitles?" And I was like, "No, it's in English." Like, because I was like, they had the English option, so I just like pressed English. And I was like, "No, I've been watching it in English this whole time." And he's like, "Dude, they don't even sound like the same people." Like, he's like, "You have to watch it in Korean." And I was like, I don't know. I did it for one episode just to check it out. It was insane how different the show felt.
9 day.
It was insane. I was just like that one lady that kind of like acts a little crazy, like where she's like screaming a lot. Her character seems like her character was kind of like really out there and like, like, but in English, her voice sounded really annoying. And she would do the like it was kind of like irritating. It's like, dude, be quiet. Like more like that kind of a vibe versus like, I feel like in Korean, she was more like badass, kind of like different. It was just I just got a different sense of vibe from her.
Yes.
Just from her tone of voice. And just like, it was just crazy. I was like, I can't believe how different it sounds. Like, you don't want to be stereotypical either and be like, you have to only cast a Korean guy for this voice. Like, right? Or is that...
I mean, it's not in bad intentions, because like all they want to do is keep the diversity in the industry, because there's a lot of problems with that. Like, that's why that's the thing with that. That happens a lot in the voiceover industry, and I think it's getting a bad rap now because of the idea of like, you know, non-diversity, right? And some people are taking it the wrong way. Like, I completely
and they probably
understand.
Get away with it because it's behind closed doors. You don't see like them recording the voice, and then it's like you get attached to the character, and you're like not going to be like, no, like that person's not the voice. Like, after you've been listening to it for years. I completely understand where people are getting it from, because like, you know, of course you would want somebody of color to play. Yeah, but you would be like, why? Yeah, it does sound a little like weird and strange. But like, you know, like thinking about John DiMaggio and a bunch of other actors, Carlos Alazraqui, and they do this thing called you know, News on the Block. Yeah. And it's a Mondo Media show where they play African Americans. Oh, really? And it's completely improv. Oh, okay. And the voices, like, they don't come off as like, you know, like they're trying to be like, you know, they're trying to be, you know, African American. Yeah. It's just references for what, you know, for what their characters would be. Mm-hmm. And it's completely a wonderful show. Like, they do it really, really well. Yeah. But some people think it's stereotypical. People don't like, But even thinking about that, a lot of voices that we know in our day and age are references from people of color. Yeah. Because think about Princess and the Frog. Yeah. You know Ray for the Firefly? Yeah, yeah. Jim Cummings got that voice from working on a riverboat in Louisiana. Oh, wow. And the guy, he was the conductor. Oh my God, how cool. And he was a very large African American. Mm-hmm. And he took that voice and was like, you know what? This is a Cajun dialect. Yeah. This is something that I can use. Mm-hmm. And nobody bat an eye. Wow. Because it wasn't considered to be put into an African American. Yeah. It was considered to take this voice that was very interesting for the character that he wanted to audition for. Right. And he got it. Right. You know, so like, I understand when people are like, oh, we need the diversity, because like, I fully agree with that. Yeah. I think that diversity is very, very supposed to be in this industry, because it's always been white led. Right. You know. I know, I totally agree with it. Like, there needs to be diversity and stuff. But I also feel like you can, like, I feel like you could still play, like, or not play, I guess, like, act as a different color person. You know what I mean? I feel like maybe we don't have to make it so like, no, you have to like only play the white guy or only play the Mexican girl. It's just you know what I mean? Like, it is just a character, and I feel like, you know, we're switching it up nowadays. Like, now, like, we're, you know, maybe a character that used to be a white character is now the main character is black. Like, we're switching it. You know, like, maybe it could be the same way with like, you know, animation, cartoons and stuff like that. Sad. But like, there's some people who, you know, who see the reason of it. Like Mike Henry. Right. Mike Henry is the voice of Cleveland from the Family Guy. So Family Guy has been going on for years. Yeah. You know, and just this year they casted an African American to play Cleveland. And this is his first debut season. Oh, wow. But Mike Henry went down, you know, by himself, on his own accord, because he felt that a person of color should be played by Cleveland. Yeah. And they worked, you know, really close to one another. Yeah. They got really close to the character, and he's incredible. Yeah. The person who took that's a legacy voice. So Mike Henry is a legacy with Family Guy being Cleveland, and then he passed the torch over to this new guy. And he's doing good. He's killing it. So good. Wow. So good. Like, he's been doing things like, I know him from YouTube. He did a lot of like trolling videos on like Call of Duty and stuff. Yeah. And look where he is now. Isn't in the industry. Isn't that crazy how like social media, YouTube, and all that can like really just put you up there? I know. It's incredible. Like, all it really takes is like one video to really hit. But I mean, it's not easy for like having that. No. But like, if you do, that could change everything. Yeah, like, those are good, but those are good at references and good, and good, like, you know, examples of like, you know, people saying, oh, we need more diversity. Now with Squid Games, they casted everybody their own race. They got Korean Americans to play the people in Squid Games. That makes sense.
The company who did the dubbing, however, I don't think is very good.
Mm-hmm.
The company that I work with is Encore Voices. They do a lot of stuff for Netflix. More known as like, French
and
stuff.
It's
Italian
just
stuff.
voiceover.
And it's just
like you just go in there. Is it like a studio and you go in and like record? Or,
so
like
this
what
is
is
actually
it?
it's actually kind of it's really
it.
interesting. So you go into the booth, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the original the original film, which is dubbed in, let's just say I did a voice for Mortel.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. I played Victor.
Okay.
And
what's it called? Mortel?
Mortel. Mortel.
Okay, Mortel.
Yeah. It's going on for 2 seasons now. So.
Wait, so where's it from, the show?
It's from France. It's from France.
France. Oh my god, how fucking cool.
It's all in French.
Ooh, okay.
So, and then I dubbed it into English, which is where I got my first dubbing experience, actually. It was on that show.
Okay.
And since I've been doing it for 2 seasons, I've kind of...
So, you're Victor.
Oh, yeah, I'm Victor.
Yeah, you're English Victor.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And it's a main cast. It's a principal role.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Okay, so when you got or you auditioned first, or did you... how did it go? Or did casting find
interesting story. And I got to give credit to Missy, my wonderful girlfriend, because if she did not tell me to quote unquote suck it up and don't be afraid and do it, I would not be where I am today.
Extra little nudge push,
because I thought it was a scam, because I got the email. And I got the call. Well, first they called me, and then they emailed me, and I was like, I don't remember putting in my stuff for this. Like, I don't remember.
Did you?
Apparently I did, because I swear to God, I don't remember that.
They didn't stalk me.
I mean, if they stalked me, I mean, fine. I mean, that means I was just good at my job.
Yeah, right. That's hilarious.
But yeah,
you probably were just applying to so many different things, and you thought about it.
It happens all the time.
Yeah,
I just be going to 50 to 100 different submissions, and I'm just
I was applying to 20, literally 20 gigs a day. If I could, I was gonna apply, and then someone would call back, and I'd be like, "Who is this?" Or which gig is this? You know what I mean? All confused because I don't have the number saved. I'm like, hey, I saw your submission, and I'm like,
that's why I have it. That's why I learned from my mistakes, and I got an Excel sheet every time that I try to email agents and managers. Nice. I have an Excel sheet with their phone number, email as much as I can.
That's smart. That's smart.
So
you email them. You're like, I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah. So she was like, yeah, just call him back. And so I gave him a call, and this is where I first met my first mentor, dubbing mentor.
Okay,
sorry, the word came to me. So that's my first dubbing mentor. Her name is Fanny Brett.
Okay.
She's been in the industry for so long.
Okay.
She's an incredible director.
Amazing.
And she's the one who got me into doing Marcel.
Ooh.
It started as non-union.
Okay.
I was allowed to do that.
Wow.
Yeah. So you go into the booth, and there's the original film. It's in French.
It's in French. Okay.
And on the bottom of it, they have this app on their computers that's called Voice Queue.
Okay.
And Voice Queue is basically karaoke for actors.
No way. So, that's literally what I imagined.
So
I was
I'll show you.
Is it like karaoke?
So right here, you got the whole
right
film.
On cue.
Oh yeah, no, it's because in the old days they had to do the fourth imaginary beep, and you had to get it synced right then and there as best as you could, or you had to keep doing it over and over and over until you got it right.
Repetitive. You're like, and again,
and again, and again, and again.
It's not spot on. It'll just look off, and then so distracting.
And that's where you get the old movies, the old kung fu movies back in the 70s, dubbed into English. That's why we need Voice Queue.
We learned.
We definitely learned from our mistakes.
Hilarious. Okay, so you're there, and it counts down.
Okay, so
or no,
I'll show you.
Yeah.
So here's that film right there,
yeah,
and then this is the voice cue. Mm-hmm. So when the film's going, my character's on screen here. Yeah. He's about to talk. Yeah. And so it's moving with every other line from every other character who's on the screen. And as soon as it comes to me, it highlights. And as soon as it highlights, that's when you're starting to talk. And then they'll play it back for you when voice cue's out of the way, and it'll look like you just got it right there on the dot.
No way, really?
It's incredible.
Wow, that's trippy. That's super cool, though.
It's so much fun.
And you always, even if the scene's with other people, are you recording it at the same time with other people, or you go in the booth and then she goes in the booth and then you guys are just recording separately?
It's only it's separate for right now because a lot of dubbing companies don't do group recordings, which I feel feel like I really want to do one because I want to meet.
like...
I want to meet the characters. I want to I want to get like my I want to play off the different actors. You know.
Oh, so right now it's actually separate. They have you guys separately recording.
Yeah, everything's separately
recorded. Even when the scenes together. Because
dubbing wants to have that sound of realism to it, but they don't want to have like the echoes of two mics happening at the same time, sort of thing.
Sense.
So
that makes sense.
So everything's separate right now. I hope for one day, when COVID's, kind of slowed down a little bit.
Maybe a group sesh,
group sesh with animation is like my dream.
That would be so freaking cool. I honestly, I hope you like get a job at Nickelodeon or like maybe anime with Netflix or something. Something like I'd be like, oh my god, it's Jacob's voice. I recognize that voice. I'll be like, shh, you hear that? I'll be like, what? That's Jacob.
I know that voice.
I love it. And you prefer dubbing over like doing, well, can you actually explain the difference between dubbing and like regular voiceover for people who aren't in the industry?
So dubbing, like I said, is mostly just like, it's definitely changing stuff from a foreign language into a different language. Right. So you can have stuff that is made in Spanish turned into French, or how they did Squid Games. Squid Games has Korean, English, French, Spanish, and I think German.
Wow.
So every other option in that wheelhouse is recorded differently in that language.
Wow. It's gonna release, and then they hit up like the dubbing companies, like different places. Like, all right, the movie's done. You guys have like, I don't know how long do they have, like a month or two to like dub
I think
it
like
over?
A month or two, definitely.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like fast. Because like I even had a gig last week Monday for like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And it was for I can't say because NDAs,
Yeah.
But
NDAs.
It's actually going to be, I think, one of my biggest credits.
Ooh, I'm excited.
So
it'll be on a streaming platform?
It'll be on a streaming platform.
Okay. So
it'll definitely be on a streaming platform.
We'll look out for it for sure.
Oh yeah, Mortel. I also did Summertime.
I want to watch it just so I can hear Victor's voice and I'd be like,
yeah, that's if you get to season 2, like that's like my magnum opus. Like I had so much fun doing that season.
How much do they like pay for? Is it like hourly?
So it is hourly.
Okay.
When I first started out, it was $100 an hour.
Wow, that's
and
good.
I did.
Or I don't know, is that good?
Oh,
like
for a non-union person who's never done dubbing before, I was like, hell yeah!
Pretty good at me.
Yeah, so $100 an hour was when I first started out, and now that I'm union,
the
card, pull up the card again.
Look at the card.
It's $127 an hour.
Nice, and I'm sure it will go up.
It technically can do, but dubbing's like that's like their flat rate. That's like that's like the union rate. That's scale. Wow,
that's happening
because
sure.
Everything's kind of different. Like if you're doing something with animation and you do like 2 to 3 different characters, of course you're going to get more money.
Because you're doing more characters.
Right. Or if you're doing
so how do they pay you like that? Like if
so it all depends on the contracts. Because like right now with dubbing, like I get $127 an hour. With this company that I did on Monday, they pay a little bit more because they're a little bit higher up than Netflix. So they like I got paid.
How many hours are you recording?
In a day,
let's say for a show, I guess, per day, I guess.
So per day, I usually record for about 3 to 4 hours.
Oh, nice! That's a quick little 400, real quick, maybe 500, closer to 500. Yeah.
There's days where you'll work for 2 hours. Those days where you work for 3 hours, but max is usually 4 to 5.
Wow!
Because you can't do a lot of things with your voice for 4 to 5 hours.
And you don't want to mess it up. Yeah, you don't want to strain it or
There's been
I don't know if that's the right word.
No, you can strain your voice. There's a lot of stories out in the industry where people, video games definitely, because video games are the most like strenuous on your voice because they're having you do everything.
Is that have you done video game voiceovers?
I wish. I do a lot of practice and stuff. I wish I did I do like small little voice, like small little like monster sounds for like this
easier, not easier,
indie
but
developer.
Like what's a little I guess easier to approach, like the voiceovers for films, for animations, or video games or dubbing? Like,
So,
what's like the first step, like
first-
when entering? Like,
It all depends on what the actor would like to do.
Okay.
Right now, my main thing is animation and video games.
Yeah,
Dubbing,
'cause that's
I will
what you
be
wanna pursue.
yes.
Okay.
Dubbing, I will be forever thankful for everything I do
Yeah.
dubbing wise because
Yeah.
it got me my start.
right.
It got me where I am today. So I'm
Right.
very, very thankful.
Mm-hmm.
But when I get those opportunities with animation and video
Mhm.
games, I'm gonna love it so much.
That's what you want.
That's what I want to do.
Right.
That's my bread and butter.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's what I trained for.
right.
You know.
Of course.
So getting all these characters, getting all these voices, and doing all
Yeah.
this training for that, it's gonna come in some soon.
Right.
I'm hoping.
And
Fingers
how many
crossed.
characters like are you able to take on in like I don't know like like in a season or like like I don't
Under
know. Like, how
under
does
the
it work?
stars, you can do as many
You can
as
do as many-
you
as
can do
lo-
many as you
if you
can.
handle-
As
yeah.
long as you get casted for it,
Yeah.
you're good.
Wow.
Because Seth MacFarlane does majority of his own voices in his own show.
Wow.
He's Peter, he's Stewie, he's Brian, he's
He is? He's all of them?
oh yeah, he's Quagmire, he's he's the Doctor, he's
So
Dr. Peter, he's
so
Mr.
he just
Peter
like
Schmidt.
talks like you would just like record it and like kind of like as if you were talking to yourself, but he's like watching the other character and he's just like talking back. Is that how?
So
Sorry.
so from the first time what they'll read it out, like the first
Okay.
read through, he'll be talking to himself basically.
Right.
But when he's doing the voices in like the booth for like the actual recording,
Mhm.
he'll record all of Peter lines and then all of Stewie lines and then all of Brian lines and then
Okay, got
yeah.
it.
So he's not talking to himself completely,
Yeah,
but
like not completely.
in the very end, he's definitely talking to himself.
Wait, I had no idea he was all the voices.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible. People don't really
That's so
really
creative.
see.
Like, how do you like? I just feel like just hearing one of the characters' voices, I'm like, wow, amazing that you can do that.
It's incredible.
But the fact that you can like 5 in like one show, like,
References, like voices you can take from real life is what he usually.
so is that what you do? Like, do you like with people you meet or like things you watch? Like, do you like?
It's all around because like I would say that I have a Rolodex in my head.
Yeah,
Because it's just it goes from like I want to do stuff from like era to like different like
Right.
voice placements to like
What's
references
like the
of
oldest
celebrities.
era you've got? Like way back, like 1920s. Or
Oh God,
60s,
I've
or, like-
done stuff. I've listened to stuff from like the 1900s.
Oh wow.
To the 1900s to like the 1910s, like when radio
way.
first started out.
Shit.
My
Okay.
main thing I really love to do for references, just to get those interesting voices
Yeah.
that that nobody's ever heard of in a
Yeah.
while, is radio shows.
Ooh,
Because
okay.
that's how animation really started.
Yeah.
A lot of people who did animations and cartoons
Right.
were from radio.
Oh wow. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So when listening to all these old radio shows from like
Mhm.
the 1920s to like the 1950s, like
Yeah.
there's so many unique voices.
Yeah, and they sound so nice. Like honestly, just music from back then, I'm like, it sounds so peaceful and just like
It's the microphones.
Is it? Is
It's
that
the
what
microphones.
Is that what it
The
is?
microphones and the people.
Something about I'm like, just like it's so soothing and relaxing. Like
Because they had a high diaphragm. They had a very
Mm.
small diaphragm microphone
Mm.
back then. So when my voice sounded like this right now, it actually sounded like this back there.
that's why it was
Mhm.
like that.
And that's why people really talked with the transatlantic
With the-
sound, because
yeah,
they wanted
yeah.
to sound very like, very posh and very like clean.
Yeah.
But because the microphones were very high, it gave them that sense of like, oh, this is not my voice. So maybe, we tweak it a little bit.
Oh my God. Learn something new every day. That's
Yeah.
fascinating. That's so
It's-
cool. I had no idea. I had no idea that it was the microphones that's why they sound. I thought those were voice.
That's the oldest I've been referenced to, because like I listen
Oh.
to stuff. I'm gonna sound really old, but
You're not old though. You're like what, 25, 24, 23?
22.
22. I'm 25. I'm way old. I was like, please be my age.
Uh,
You're so young and you're already SAG.
I try my
You made
best.
it.
I'm
You did
working.
it.
I'm working.
This is just the beginning too. Like if you're like, that's amazing. 22 years old, already part of SAG, like already like on Netflix shows. Like that's pretty impressive. You should give yourself a applause and be.
I know.
Take it in. Like I feel like we're always like on to the next, or like
Mhm.
like once I get here, this is when I'm happy because I reached my goal. But it's like no, like taking the like process and like all of it, the experience of like to getting to there. You know what I mean? It's like all these like little shows that maybe you didn't think like were a big deal or like whatever, but like it's all part of your experience and part of the journey. So that's really cool.
Yeah. So, I'm very, very thankful for what I got. But, for being a 22-year-old, knowing stuff from like the 1920s to the 1950s, because like the older guys who like the OGs who have been there, like they're heavy hitters.
Are there like what's the common age range in voiceover now? Like, what do you notice?
So the people that I follow are usually starting like fire starters in the animation industry are like 30 to 40s.
30. Yeah. I feel like it would be people a little bit older.
But once you got a little bit more into the industry, you've got these like golden voices like I said, like Jim Cummings, Rob Paulson, Jess Harnell, all these big people, they're like they're in their 50s, they're like some of them are in their 60s. And even June Foray, she was 99 when she stopped working.
Wow. That's fascinating. Good for her. Holy shit.
Mel Blanc literally worked until he died.
Wow.
He you're in this industry, you fall in love with it so much that you never want to stop.
Yeah, because it's like I feel like it's so unique and like such a special experience. Like I feel like when you really think about it and break down like what you do, it's like not a lot of people in the world get to do that, and you have like a very unique, special job, and it's like I get it. Like I get why you would fall so in love with it.
And that's why I love when people fall in love with it.
Yeah,
I feel sometimes like nowadays in this generation, I feel like voiceover's kind of gotten a bad rap because of the celebrity aspect.
Right. How does that feel when like celebrities are asked to like be the voiceovers or like, in the movies instead of people who are literally trying to be professional voiceover actors? Like, does it feel like a slap in the face, or do you not care because like they're also in the industry? Like, I don't know. Like, how does that work?
There's some people who are celebrities that are very good voiceover actors.
Yeah.
There's a very large majority of them that are just actors who are talking on the mic because they're their name.
Exactly. Like, I mean, like, what was it Paw Patrol? I think it was Paw Patrol. Like, I think it's Paw Patrol. Like, they put Kim Kardashian as the voice of one of the dogs. And, like, it's because she has, like, 200 million followers on Instagram. So it's like, they're going to tune in.
Yeah.
So, like, I was thinking about that. I was like, no offense to Kim Kardashian at all. Like, she's a very business-savvy woman and has her own talents and her own shit going on, which is sick. But I feel like, what does it feel like for, like, people who are, like, trying to do this, like, training and doing this, working hard every day, and then they, like, see, like, a celebrity swoop in and take that spot, Like,
it's kind of discerning. A lot of the time, because like you see these people who are working so hard in the industry, and then you just get somebody who has a name and they're like, oh yeah, we'll
but that
take
happens with every position too, not
every single time.
It's sad, like,
and it's really, really sad because thinking about like I said, Scoob, Will Forte is an actor, right? He's not he does stuff voiceover wise, which is actually decently well done. Like he does a lot of stuff with Bob's Burgers and stuff like that, so he does a good amount. But when it comes to like legacy voice, I don't think he's that kind of guy.
No,
he has a different melancholy comedy to him.
Yes,
and that just wasn't his vibe.
I agree. Yeah. Wow.
There's certain actors out there that are really good at voice acting. Like,
who, in your opinion, like is like a actor that you're like,
110% Jack Black is one of those guys.
Oh my god, yes.
Jack Black is definitely one of those guys.
Kung Fu Panda, right? Didn't he do
Kung Fu Panda is where I really saw him. He was Tigress.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I feel like Jack Black is one of those voices that has like, I don't know who else, like who's like a very unique. I feel like you can tell Chris Rock and like, but I don't know if it's more because of like his voice is unique and he's funny.
His voice is unique.
I don't think, I don't know if it's because he has ranges.
As you can tell, after Madagascar, he didn't really do anything else. Like he had one little line, he had one little character in the Bee Movie with Jerry Seinfeld.
Wait, I literally just watched that 2 days ago. I had seen it like a long time ago.
Okay, thank God. I thought that was the first time you watched it. And I was like, wait a minute.
I just like was like, oh my God, like I haven't seen this movie in so long. Like, and I was like, doesn't she fall in love with the bee? Like, I kind of
Did she fall in love with the bee?
Yeah, like I just like it was like a really like I didn't have it like.
Doesn't the bee sue America? I don't know.
Yeah, like crazy shit was going on. I was like, I need to watch it. And then the cast was a big cast and
Mhm.
a lot of famous people in there. But like, I think they're all just big actors, right?
Mhm.
They're not like voiceover actors.
No, not in the
Yeah. So
slightest.
I've been, I'm like, okay, so like, is it common for like bigger, productions that do animations to hire just actors because we already know them and like
Mhm.
we're like they have the following, I guess, or like influencers now.
A lot of influencers
Versus,
are getting that.
Like, I don't know, is there like kind of like a little like thing going on with that, or is it just kind of like
It's all about money.
it's all about
It's all about money, and this industry is all about money.
It's sad that
So
it's like that because, like, when you work on independent sets,
Mhm.
it's like it's a passion project. Like
Mhm.
everyone's so like invested in it, and it's like
Yes.
you can feel like the passion. Like
Mhm.
everyone's like happy to be a part of the production, and like on bigger sets, sometimes I do miss feeling that. Like I feel like it's like you get paid really nicely, but sometimes the like passion's missing.
Oh yeah, it's now a numbers game because you think about the new Mario movie, for instance.
What do you think about that? How do you feel about Chris Pratt playing Mario? Do you feel like it should have been an Italian guy? Sorry, there's a lot of questions.
I think that I'm really, really shocked that they didn't get the original voice for Mario.
Yeah, that's literally what. Okay, I thought it was crazy, but I was just like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, I love Chris Pratt. I think he's a great actor, but I don't think they did that well. I don't think that made sense.
Now, if it's the direction that the director's going, that's not very original to the Mario video games, then
but it's like, how can you not be original
works.
To the one and only live action Mario movie?
I don't know. I'll fully admit, video game movies
don't do that well.
Always flop.
Yep.
Majority they flop.
I didn't want to jump the gun too fast on that, but I literally was like, how come every video game movie sucks?
I'm really
Pikachu might have been like the only one I liked.
Pikachu was good.
Yeah.
Pikachu was actually pretty decent. And that's another one. Ryan Reynolds is a voiceover, is like an actor.
He's an actor and he's
an actor, but the way he plays different characters, he can play both. Like, they're getting him for his voice because he never changes his voice.
Yeah.
But he always develops himself into the character.
You're right.
And that's the best thing about, with Ryan Reynolds. And also, Mike Myers is one of those big people. He changes his voice constantly, nonstop. But he's an actor.
Yeah. Wow, he is an actor. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that's so true. Like, the difference between someone who's, like, literally just trained to, like, I'm here for my voice, and then someone who's like, look at me and everything that I bring to the screen.
Yeah, because do
you still want to act?
I always think that like on-screen acting is always is definitely like
it's still on the table.
It's definitely on the table.
Like if they were like, "Hey, Jacob, you want to star in a movie?"
Yeah,
you would say, "Yeah."
I would totally be down for that because I got the training for it for 3 years. I'm not gonna just throw that out the trash, But my magnum opus is definitely voice acting. Okay. I will always want to do voice acting over anything because Jess Harnell says it perfectly. On-screen actors get up at 7 a.m. You're there for 10 hours and you feel exhausted.
Yeah.
Whereas voiceover actors, you just get out of bed, you're in your pajamas, you go to the studio for 4 hours, you come home, you can take a nap.
When you put it that way, I'm like, yeah, that's way cooler. That sounds like the life.
But if you're really into seeing the face and like being in front of the people, like obviously
it depends on the type of person, I guess, too. Because honestly, to me, that sounds more intriguing. Like doing voiceover, being in a booth, kind of like being like I can just like be in my element. I can be weird if I want.
If you really want to get into it, I have so many sources and so many things to show you.
What about when you're auditioning? Like you almost like you basically have to have your own mic and your own setup, right? At your own place. Is that required, or like if you're kind of like more involved or not, like I guess more professional, you have your own setup, or like what do you think? Like does anyone starting off need to have like? So
in this industry, when you're first starting off, I would definitely recommend to just play with the mic.
Yeah.
To get a feel, to hear, because people don't understand the voice you hear when you're talking. That's not your voice. That's not your voice at all.
Yeah, because I feel like I never sound like the way that, like, I don't know, I'll hear myself, like, after I talk, or after I record myself, and I'm like, ew, what? I'm like, I thought I sound so different.
No one's
Why
used
is that,
to their
though?
own.
Why can't we hear our voices like that?
Because you got this shell. You have this whole shell. You have so many funnels and filters throughout this area. And also, this big booming voice you're feeling, you're hearing it from the inside.
Oh, wow.
So when you're talking, you're like, oh, I got this big manly voice.
Yeah, I always think I have such a deep voice. I'm like, oh my God.
And in reality, you're just like, hi guys. Like,
welcome back to the R-rated podcast. I'm like, yeah, I have such a man voice. Like,
So-
I literally always was like, yeah, I have a deep voice. Like, because I hear myself talk. And I'm
Oh,
like,
I don't think so.
really?
Yeah, I
That's
think
so
you-
funny.
Yeah, you got a nice voice. So I definitely recommend playing with a microphone. Like my first ever microphone is actually this one right here, a Blue Yeti.
So I know what I'm doing.
It's like $80.
Yes.
And, you know, you can get it.
So super affordable.
Super affordable.
That's why I have two now.
There you go. See? There you go.
Not the same color, but you know.
But yeah, just play around with the mic because once you know how to dance with the
Work the
microphone
mic,
and work the mic and like do different voices.
Is your
on
mic
it.
like installed like this, or is yours like?
It's on a scissor arm right here.
Okay,
but
it's like on an arm, and you move it, or do you just like keep
my
that and you
mic-
move around?
So I have my mic. So I have my own in-home booth.
Okay,
Because
cool.
this is the first time I've ever had my very own
Nice.
in-home booth, and I'm
Nice.
really excited. It's in a
Yeah.
closet.
Love it.
You know,
that's
so-
smart. Convert your closet into a freaking booth. Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Perfect,
Yeah.
because you can, like, what I did is I took
Use your
this
resources,
whole
right?
closet
Like,
and then I foamed the walls. I got these like little foam
that's
squares.
what I want to do here. Like I want to
Yes,
like
that's a
you
great
know what
idea.
I mean, to block out the sound because like sometimes like people will
Yeah.
drive by fast or
Mhm.
like or like the birds will like
Oh,
make
yeah.
noise, you know, and I can't really control that.
But you foam the walls, you know, you get those little panels and you
Yeah.
foam every wall you can.
Yes.
And then for the door, I use a sound blanket. So I hang the sound blanket over the door.
Okay, so like
So that's very compact.
yes.
And then my mic I have is like it's like on this like little rail for like usually the clothes that are going in the closet. I have it like, you know, I have this little thing right here.
Yes.
I have that zipped up in there, and then the mic is above me, and it goes and it lowers down from here. So I had the mic, right in front of me. And my mic is a Studio Project
Right.
C1 condenser.
Oh,
it's,
that sounds fancy.
It's like a $200 mic, but it's the same quality as a Neumann UA70i, which is an
Which is?
industry,
Yeah.
which is an industry mic. It's
Oh.
$2,000 to $3,000. So to find a mic that is the same quality,
Is it gonna make me sound beautiful? Like, am I gonna like make
it's gonna sound like
people cry
you're
when I
Barry
talk?
White.
They'd be like, it's
You sound like you're Barry White on like just a
like crispy
nice
clear, like
clean
just not
summer
crispy,
day.
crisp and clear.
Yeah, you're gonna sound like you have the voice of God.
Wow, honestly, that would be pretty cool. I would like to hear the difference. Like that would be kind of cool. Like to test out different mics and like talk into it and like.
It's been an adventure because I had the Yeti and then
like started from the Yeti. Now we're here.
yeah, I had the Yeti and then I worked my way up to this one, and I fell in love with this one, and then I also have like one for like commercials and dubbing when I do dubbing auditions and stuff. So it's a shotgun, so it's more directional. And with commercials and promos, the shotgun really shoots and like kind of like pierces through the sounds in the background. So when you have all the music and like the added on sounds in the commercials. Why do you think so many like voices sound clear?
Wow, because I'm like when I was editing like a little project of mine, and I was like trying to figure out like because I know that you do the audio first, like and then every sound effects and music and all that last, like the bars. Yeah, but it's just like so crazy when you play around with it because if you switch it, like it sounds like way quieter, and then like the sound effects like super loud. Like I've made that mistake before, but that's how you learn, you know, like making mistakes, editing.
Yes, and making mistakes when you know. And
literally like the fact that I'm even like sitting here doing this, like it's crazy. I didn't know anything about mics. I didn't know anything about podcasting before when I started this. And then like this whole year has just been like a fun like practice, and it's been keeping me like busy networking, making connections. And it's so much fun, you know? Like
it's incredible.
And I learned so much too. Like today, I feel like I learned so many things. I was like, wow, I never would have expeced that, which is so cool. So I always take away so much from the conversation.
I'm so glad that I can give you that because I always want to tell everyone about voiceover. Like any single person is like, oh, I love that cartoon.
Yeah.
Like, you know that person who voiced it?
Literally, like, you know this person? I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, that's so cool. Like,
I would always recommend to play with the mic because once you know the dance and everything, then you can kind of understand to play with your voice then. Yeah. Because after that, just play with your voice, you know, in the car. If you're looking at like a traffic signal, just be like, the traffic signal's red. You know?
like just literally,
you know, or the traffic signal's red. You know, like just make your voice go up, down, sideways, all around. Change different like tones, you know, different languages. Go mimic somebody that you used to know.
I was gonna ask that. Is mimicking like a good way to like kind of like learn it, like or like to pick it up?
Sometimes, like, it's always good to like have an ear. Like that's why I love that I have a musical ear along with like being very auditorial.
Yes.
Because like everything I learned is so auditorial. Yeah. So I'm listening to voices and like sounds, and that's how I got to do. That's how I learned how to do a trumpet. I know how to do a trumpet.
Wait, like you know how to sound like a trumpet? Oh, yeah. Okay, let's hear it.
So it's basic. Like I usually use the version of La Vie en Rose from Louis Armstrong because I can do Louis Armstrong too.
Let's hear it.
So it's like it goes, and then you have La Vie en Rose.
Wow, that is so true. You're literally like one of those videos, like when they do go full acapella with their mouse and like a whole soundtrack.
I love doing the trumpet because it's just such like an interesting thing. A lot of beatboxers do it. That's how I came to.
What are like? How do you any like tricks on how to like get your voice to do you? Like how does that happen?
I just like it's just sort of like a blow. So like the way I do trumpet is like I bring it to the side of my face, of course, and then you kind of, but like.
It's like you have to know how to whistle.
You kind of have to like learn how to pop your lips out a little bit.
Yeah, I see it.
Like that. Wow. And then once you want to go into I go into my falsetto when I do trumpet because it's the higher ranges, right? So. And it sounds like a trumpet. But thanks to being an auditorial person, you know, like those voices and those sounds just kind of come natural to me.
Yeah.
But always mimicking is always a great way to kind of just like get into it because like voice acting is not just like, hey, I do a funny voice. Yeah. It's like, okay, you can do a voice, but can you do anything in that voice? Can you act in that voice?
I think that's a great point to make. Like I feel like a lot of people didn't maybe know before this episode, like, oh, like, can you literally tell a whole story in this voice? Not like say only one sentence or one word. Like anybody could just maybe say one word, but can you literally immerse yourself into that character and be that person in that voice?
One great thing to do if you have a voice that you really like and you want to like work on it, read a book. Read something like in that voice and make it dramatic, comedic. Wow. Threatening.
I love it.
Whatever.
I would have never read a book.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You can even read the instructions to like a toaster oven.
Like a manual or something.
Because like one show that the one thing on YouTube I definitely recommend. Yeah. It's James Arnold Taylor's one-man show called Talking to Myself. Okay. It's a great show. It talks all about his journey through voiceover, different voiceover areas of what he does, and like it just gives you a nice little niche into his life.
I love it.
He also does a lot of podcasts too. That's called The Jat Show, and he's basically doing talk. It's basically him talking to himself the entire time. I can see you having a podcast.
You have a good voice for it.
I've thought about it.
I mean, you have so much to talk about, so much to like.
Oh yeah,
like fun facts that I would have never even known, or like it's crazy. Like, and it's so casual. Like you just know it. Like it's not like. You're not like, oh, I looked these up before I came here. Like just throwing it out.
It's just stuff that I've learned throughout the years.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I feel like you should maybe if you have downtime, obviously. Like, in the future. Or something.
I definitely want to look into that.
I know it's not easy trying to like build a career and then also like try to.
Yeah.
It's hard to manage that, but like it seems like you're doing really well with that, which is huge too.
I appreciate that.
No, that's great.
That's why I love when you ask me these questions, like if mimicking is like one of the ways to go, and like because like. Yes and no, because I mimic some people myself. There's this guy who I used to work at McDonald's. There was a guy that used to come in, and his name was Tennessee. And this dude would come from the Talleyrand, like the day before, the day after, like buzzed, he went because he would always drink at the Talleyrand and then do karaoke. Okay. Pass out, go into McDonald's, get some food before he had to go to Walmart. Because he worked at the Walmart, so he'd always get food before he went to work. And I was like, "How you doing, Tennessee?" And his voice, he's Southern. Yeah. And so he kind of sounded more like this. So when I said, "Hey, how you doing, Tennessee?" Just usual today. It's like. Jacob, I gotta tell you, the Talleyrand made me drier than a goddamn Sahara in my voice. I need a Dr. Pepper right now.
I love Dr. Pepper.
And so, references to that voice.
That's a great reference. That's great. That makes sense. You like literally like you're working or you're like going out somewhere or you're hanging out with a friend and you meet someone out. Like, and that voice sticks in your head, and you can apply that to, you know, a character in the future.
Oh yeah.
It's like you don't even think about it, but it's like you're just like picking it up, like just in your everyday life. And like I feel like normally, like at first I didn't think, I'm like, oh my god, is he like sitting there like practicing different voices, or like where's he getting them from? You know, but like that makes a lot of sense.
I'm listening
like,
all the time. Oh no, there's so many. There's so many voices
Hopefully
in my head.
Hopefully no scary ones though.
No. Unless you have to go into that, and then you know.
Yeah.
You
What's like the weirdest voice you've, or like character you've had?
Oh man, the one I've created. It was actually for a series that I did on my Instagram. It was like this like cult leader that sounded more like if Gandalf met Snape a little bit.
I love it.
Because
he would sound like this.
Oh my God.
Very dark and ominous. But, you know, because in this area, you can go to Ian McKellen. You can go into a Gandalf.
That is sick.
And with that, you can go into a Snape, you know.
Wow.
And so with that going into
this land is mine, you know, and
you know, so it's
literally,
it's also like it's like it's like Gandalf and like Bill Clinton.
I love
had a baby.
They had a son.
Because like Snape is a little bit higher, but like now that I think about it, because that's vocal fry. So what I did was called vocal fry.
Oh, is that what it?
Yeah.
You're like,
so
do something here.
Yeah. So if you're gonna do like a Bill Clinton, you have to go to this side of your voice because you're
the side of your voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God.
So think about it as like a
and then you just kind of talk in this area, and then when you put a southern tang on it, and there you go, you got Bill Clinton.
I love it.
Sometimes some of them are a little bit different because like you know you can always hear like the nasal with Squidward because you know like
yeah.
But with like Plankton it's very down here and you know hey I'll get you next time crabs and you know like there's that and then,
or I feel like Patrick he just kind of sounds like
Bill Faberbachy actually just goes into this guttural voice.
SpongeBob. Like I can't do
SpongeBob.
it. Yeah,
You know,
literally.
But the way that Phil Faberbachy does it is he's so energetic, but he's so forceful. Like Tom Kenny, you know that laugh he does?
Yeah.
It's like that. But
like,
he does that.
He does
all the time.
Oh, that's a trick?
Yeah. His voice is like
we're on to you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we're on to you, Tom.
Yeah, I was like, wow, what a unique laugh. You know what I mean?
There's a most unique laugh, I think.
Imagine you're like at a dinner party and he's like, just like.
Oh yeah, voice actors do that all the time. They'll just pop out of voice, you know, out of nowhere. Because a lot of voice actors do a lot of impressions too. Because
are voice actors comedians too? Is that common? Because like
a lot of voice actors come from different bases. Like you're either an onstage actor, a stand-up comedian, a person who is in music.
I feel like comedians do voiceovers.
Oh
too.
Yeah, plenty of them do.
I've been seeing that a lot too. Now.
Plenty of them do.
And
voice acting.
and because they're like known to be fun. Like Kevin Hart.
Yes.
Like he literally, I feel like, is in so many movies and also animations. And you recognize his voice because he's a very like distinct.
He has a very distinct voice.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what it was with Chris Rock too, with Madagascar. Like you knew it was him.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, now that I think about it, I'm like, yeah, he's not a voice actor. He's just like a comedian. Or Kevin Hart's a comedian that you just recognize and you hear so often. Some people who just have really distinct voices usually go into voiceover because of how unique they are. Like Morgan Freeman. You know it. Oh, yeah. I'm Morgan Freeman. Yes. You know, voice is always down here. Yes. You know, you know that voice from anywhere. Anywhere. And that's so they put it a lot into animation. Anywhere. He was actually in the Lego movie. He was I don't think it's he was in the really? No, I have to say it had Chris Pratt in it and it had Charlie Day. Charlie Day is actually the voice of Luigi in the next. Yes. How do you feel about that? He has a very distinct voice and he does. I love his acting. I do love his acting too. I'm excited to see what that is like because I love Always Sunny. It's like my favorite thing. I was happy about that one. Isn't Jack Black in it too? Jack Black is. He's Bowser. Bowser, right? Yeah. I don't know how that's going to play out, but I'm excited for that. I feel like like we have to do a follow-up episode after that movie comes out.
Oh my god.
Comes out and like talk about what like we thought about it.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds incredible.
About, like video game movies too, because that's a topic.
Uncharted is actually going to be coming to theaters soon.
Oh,
and Uncharted
perfect.
is a video game, and the person who did the original voices aren't in that movie at all.
Are people mad?
Some people are because
Some
Tom Holland is playing the main character, and the main character is like in his 30s.
And Tom's like what? Like
Tom's
21?
like a child.
Yeah,
he's like my age. So I can't because like maybe if it's like a flashback to like where Nathan Drake was like a part of that, because also Mark Wahlberg is playing this older guy Sully, and Sully's like grayed out, and Mark Wahlberg is just Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
They didn't change him at all.
Oh,
so I'm hoping this is like a flashback sort of movie, like starting origin sort of thing, because a lot of people were upset that they didn't choose Nathan Fillion for Nathan Drake, because he looks exactly like him, and he actually played Nathan Drake in a fan film that everyone recommended.
Wow.
Like because he was incredible.
Yeah.
But the original voices who did Nathan Drake and Sully are not in it. And the difference between that is the original voice of Nathan Drake is Nolan North, and he accepts that he's not a part of it, and he's been promoting the thing, because at least it's still his like era.
Right.
It's still the project that he was on.
Right.
So maybe people are like, "Oh, Uncharted, I love that movie. Wait, they have a video game? Let me go play it." And
that makes sense.
Bringing in more people. And my main thing is for me to write, direct, produce, and star my very own animation.
Whoa, that would be badass.
I would love to do the Seth MacFarlane route if I can.
Ooh,
because I don't I have ideas for what I want to do, but I
was going to ask you,
where to get the ball rolling.
So you have an idea. Have you written the idea?
I haven't written anything down.
Okay, once you write it down, that's when it's like
exactly,
it's happening, it's official. Just write it down and then like slowly start pursuing it. You can. I honestly really think you can do it. Like after hearing all those voices, I was like, I approve.
Thank you so much.
I get why you're in SAG.
Thank you. I hope that dubbing's just a jumping off point.
No, it will.
Bigger and better things.
I already know I'm gonna turn on the TV and I'm gonna be like watching anime and be like, is that Jacob? So I'm super excited for that. If you want to throw out any like social media or like YouTube or something that like people can follow you and stay up to date or listen to, or movies that you've done voiceover for that people can watch.
Yes. Okay. Sorry.
Start from the beginning.
Let's do it. All right. So Instagram, Jacob V Hill VO, TikTok, Jacob V Hill VO. Nice. I also have a lot of things in Netflix. I've been on Mortel. And
as
Summertime
Victor, right?
as Victor.
Okay.
Summertime as Edo.
Okay.
And then I did Kiran as young Albert. It was a horror film. It was only like a small little role.
Cool.
But and then this other one that's coming out, I can't say anything about it, but I can't wait. I can't wait.
And it's gonna be on one of the popular streaming platforms.
Yeah,
so
definitely one of the
when do you think it would like come out? Maybe we could try to like aim for a follow-up episode around then and like talk about it.
If I haven't gotten any updates on the dates yet, because it was literally like so fast. Like they needed to get this out like next day.
Oh, sure.
Sort of thing.
Okay.
So hopefully,
so it's a fast process.
Yes. So hopefully they'll get all that stuff done and they'll give me an update to where I can start talking about it and posting about it.
Well, hopefully it's on here. I'm one of the first people to hear about it.
Let's hope. Fingers crossed.
I'm excited. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope you come back soon.
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.